bus is talking to people that are coming in for dialysis and finding out that they're staying in the same caravan park that you are. And the other day, for instance, we had a gentleman and his grandson came in here and he wanted to have a look around at the machines, and that was great. And then later this morning I actually saw him out on his bicycle with his brothers and sisters and his mums and dads, and they're all running around the caravan park, and it was just nice to see that Granddad could actually enjoy the company of his kids in a relaxed manner. And if we didn't have this bus here, he wouldn't have been able to do that. He'd have to wait for a position in another dialysis unit, which unfortunately would probably be filled up with somebody that regularly dialyses there. And that limits people's opportunities to get away for a holiday. And that's where the kidney bus, the big red kidney bus, will actually make those opportunities for people. And in fact, that's been the greatest comment that most people have made to me. Without this bus being here, they would never have got away for a holiday. And that's just a thrill to be a part of that process.
It's an amazing privilege and honour to be on the big red kidney bus here today. We've seen it from the outside, we were amazed, and gosh, to see it on the inside now, to have met these three fantastic patients who are having treatment today, to see the happiness of being able to experience a holiday for the first time. It doesn't feel like we're in a bus, it feels like you are in a hospital ward. Amazing facilities, amazing nurses. This concept is great. Glad to be part of it. Thank you. When the Bank of Melbourne was given this amazing opportunity to be involved with the big red kidney bus, I could not refuse. So donating this water is very, very important. My own brother Vince, who was diagnosed with kidney cancer a few years ago and is a survivor, only has the one kidney. So this is very dear to our hearts. So we dedicate this moment also to the very special Vince Tripodi, the late Vince Tripodi, and how amazing was this morning when we came here and Vince has noticed Vince. So all the best, guys, from us.
Thank you. Well done, Jules. Cheers.
My name's Barb Cattell. I'm from Melbourne. I've been working at Dandenong Dialysis Unit. I was a unit manager there up until recently, and I've now decided to work on the kidney bus. I did it as a bit of a vacation for myself, and I thought it'd be a nice idea to actually see what it's like to see patients that I would normally dialyse to be out on holidays. It's been a novel experience. It's interesting working in confined spaces. When you're in your own unit, you've got plenty of room to move around, and here you're in a confined space, but all the amenities, all the equipment that you need is still all there. I think one of the greatest pleasures for me is when you see the patients walk in and they've got this big grin on their face because they're just happy to be away from home. And it's just a privilege to actually be able to help them out. Patients are amazed. I actually liken it to a bit like Doctor Who's TARDIS. You step inside and it's a completely different world, and the patients are they're just appreciative for everything that's actually there. They're surprised they've got a TV that's sitting in front of them. Some of them have looked at the chairs and think, wow, this is a chair that goes back and backwards and forwards, and the machines might be a little bit different to what they're used to, but effectively the same treatment's being provided for them. And I think that's the biggest thing for the patients, is to actually get the trust in new staff to be looking after them, and that quickly dissolves when you actually just go about and do your work. Great to actually work with people that you've known by name. Often in dialysis we refer patients on to different units, and we know each other by the names, and having spoken on the phone calls, the nice thing about this is you actually get to see some people face to face and actually get to work with them that you may not have ever worked with before, and that camaraderie, it is there, it's really strong. It's also, it's like a holiday for yourself, really. It's been real pleasure and just so totally enjoyable. I'm staying in a caravan park myself with my husband. He's away on holidays. I ride my bike here to the unit because it's only 1 kilometre away from where I'm staying, and that in itself is like my own little holiday. And the work here is just pleasant, it's lovely, the patients appreciate what you're doing. It's a joy to actually come to work. One of the things with coming away, often patients are concerned about what care they're going to be given, and they are concerned about what would happen if something goes wrong. I think one of the great things about working in the bus, the staff themselves have to feel comfortable that they're working independently, and for that reason you're not going to get very junior staff coming to work on the bus. It'll be more experienced people to come here. So most of us that are coming here have been working in dialysis for a number of years and have seen most things that can happen, and for that reason when somebody's condition changes, we've got the medical support from the local medical clinics. We've got emergency numbers here for them. We also know the contact numbers for an ambulance if we need to actually contact that. And I think it's your years of experience that actually help you get through that sort of situation. I've worked in a house where we used to have dialysis before, and it's not much different working here in the bus. It's being able to recognise when somebody's condition has changed and to know your limitations as a nurse, and that comes down to experience, which people will have when they're working here on the bus. One of the great things about having worked here on the big red kidney bus here at Lakes Entrance is knowing the relationship that's happening with Monash Medical Centre and Monash Health, and that relationship with Kidney Health Australia. The combination of working together, you can see that it's working as a team, and all the histories have been streamlined. We've got the coordinator that sends all the information through. It's here for us ahead of time. Kidney Health Australia have been down here, they've given presentations in the local area, and that's been a great thrill to actually see people from the community coming out and being part of that process of hearing that education that's been given. Often as a nurse, when we work in dialysis, we become insulated in our own field, and it's great to see the work that Kidney Health Australia can actually do. So one of the great things about this promotion with Kidney Health Australia is when we've seen the parents and the children come through the bus to actually have a look around and ask questions about what dialysis is and demystifying it. And for that reason, if nothing else, this bus will actually give promotion to the general community and open up the whole of those horizons to the general public.
Owned a van for a while, and it's been 3 years since we've used it, and it was the ideal opportunity for us to come away, and it's a good time of the year to do that.
Why haven't you been able to use it?
Well, I was on peritoneal dialysis for 7 years, and I had an infection, and I had to go to hemodialysis, and hemodialysis ties you down into one particular spot. There's very few hospitals which have got a satellite or a spare available chair for a visitor to come in. Initially wanted to get into Rosebud. I had to wait for a spot to become available before I could get into Rosebud. When I changed over from hemo to peritoneal, from peritoneal to hemodialysis. I already lived in Rosebud, but it was always full. The hospital was always booked out with patients, and I travelled back to the Alfred for several months because I was an Alfred patient. So it was constantly going up to Alfred to try and do the dialysis, especially the first up till everything was back on a regular basis. When I found out about the kidney bus, we thought, well, it's the greatest thing, for us really, is to get us back in a bit of a, especially because I've retired now, I've got more time. Since early in the year, like since January, I've sort of permanently retired, and I've got time to go away, and I can make a week there or a week there, and go with the bus basically. There's lots of caravan parks with units, etc. And you can stay there. It depends on your interests. There's always some locality with views or with restaurants or beaches or whatever, and you can make a weekend away. The family is part of this, and we had a lovely evening last night. We had dinner together, and to see the grandkids playing around in the park, it's just beautiful.
Challenges with my health was keeping well enough to be married, and because it is, such a huge day, and if I wasn't up to it, well, it just wasn't going to happen. Having the dialysis 3 times a week takes a lot out of me and exhausts me, so it was a matter of juggling my dialysis schedule to a day where I didn't have it and working around that. I thought, gee, I don't know what we can do actually. The dialysis makes it very hard to go away because you need to find somewhere where firstly dialysis is offered and where they have a spare spot available for you. So it was going to be a real challenge to find somewhere that we could go.
But luckily enough, the kidney bus was started at the right time, and it was a bit of a godsend for us both, and we've been able to celebrate our honeymoon together here in Lakes Entrance.
Without the service of the big red kidney bus, I honestly don't think our honeymoon would have happened. Or we may have had to go to, I don't know, a capital city or somewhere that wasn't really a holiday destination.
And that's if we were lucky enough for a vacant position, seat. So
yeah,
this year's made it
possible for us to not only travel, but travel with our caravan, go camping, take day trips. It's been great. Yeah. Having dialysis on the bus is pretty similar to having it at my regular unit, just in smaller conditions. But all the equipment, everything's there, the nurse is there with you the whole time, so you feel reassured, and everything's pretty much the same. You've got some nice scenic surrounds.
We found out about the Big Red Kidney Bus via online, by their website, and it was by chance that the email came up, the website came up and said that they were starting a new thing, which was the bus, and we applied just via online. Pretty simple. Anyone can do it, and everyone's available to have the opportunity to do it. Yep.
I would absolutely, fully, 100% endorse using the Big Red Kidney Bus.
If anyone has the chance to go on it, by all means, it gives everyone a holiday, and you won't regret it.
Everybody needs a holiday, and especially when you do have constraints like dialysis, it really is just such a wonderful initiative. And I'd encourage anybody to take a holiday as long or as short as you can. Just find out where the bus is and book it. Yeah. It's so easy. When Lawrence first proposed to me, and we spoke about getting married and going on a honeymoon and doing all those normal things, I was a bit overwhelmed really, because I thought, I don't know if we can go on a honeymoon. It's just all too hard with dialysis. It's too complicated. I don't think it's possible.
But now with the Big Red Kidney Bus, it's made it possible, and we'll be forever be able to go on holidays again.
We'll definitely be using the Big